time.
Andy Hamilton darf in diesem Achtelfinalmatch ran gegen die aktuelle Nummer 11 der Weltrangliste. Einer der erfolgreichsten Spieler auf der European Tour. Zuletzt hat er das Turnier von Gibraltar gewonnen. Es war bereits sein 4. Erfolg. Die Rede ist vom Bully Boy Michael Smith. Und auch den Caller dieses Matches wollen wir herzlich begrüßen. The Voice himself, Russ Bray.
Well, there's every prospect that Michael Smith could win back-to-back European Tour titles, especially after the dismissal of a 3-time European Tour champion this year, Peter Wright, in the top half of the draw. Michael Smith kicking things off in the bottom half of the draw against Andy Hamilton. Of course, the very clear and present danger of Michael van Gerwen is in this particular segment as well. But first things first for Michael Smith, the man who won in Gibraltar last month. He has to get past this particular hurdle, and what a hurdle it is as well. A man who reached the final of the PDC World Championship as recently as 2012. 50-year-old Andy Hamilton, just giving us all a reminder of exactly what he can do, especially when he saw off Simon Whitlock, the number 4 seed, yesterday. Paul Nicholson back in the box for this one. Paul, how do you see this one shaping up?
Well, I think from a neutral perspective, you've got to have Michael Smith as a rather big favourite, and that's obviously no disrespect to Andy Hamilton. But Michael's got his tail up at the minute. He's had some great performances this year, accentuated by that win in Gibraltar.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg, Andy to throw first. Game on!
However, he's won the bullseye. Technically 1-0 to Andy Hamilton. And looking at his social media feed over the last couple of days, you just get the feeling that Andy may have turned a little corner. Just psychologically, he just feels a lot happier. And when you're happy with your game, it usually goes well on the dartboard in the matches. But Michael Smith's a very, very big fence to get over right now because he's playing really well.
Yep. Well, just before we get too far down the road, this one, just a reminder of what we've had already today. 4 matches in, and already we have seen 27 180s, 7 from Stephen Bunting, 7 from Christo Reyes. We've seen the elimination of the 3-time European Tour champion this year, Peter Wright. And we've also had 2 very real good goes at a 9-dart leg. Stephen Bunting, 8 perfect darts, Reyes with 7, and there's another 180 as well to follow suit. It's been that sort of day so far. If you're just joining us, you've missed an awful lot, but hopefully we can make it up for you in the second half. half of the champion. So it's a vast improvement on that as well.
Everybody gets beat 6-0 now and again. Even the greats. Van Gerwen's been beaten 6-0 on a European stage this year. Gary Anderson was beaten 6-0 by Joe Cullen last year, which nobody saw coming.
Yeah. I think about Hamilton as well. Last year he didn't qualify. Well, he qualified for 3, but he didn't win a single match. 7 failures, 3 qualifications, but did not win a game. He didn't make it here last year as well. He's making his debut in this particular tournament. But like I say, not so long ago he was playing in the World Championship final. Made the UK Open final on one occasion as well, and the Grand Slam. And a Premier League semi-finalist as recently as 5 years ago. Smith then on 88 here.
48.
Well, Smithy's picking a few choice ways to go. I know that 48 and double top add up to 88, but maybe he just did that because Andy's on 180. But he's definitely got a different way of counting over the last few days. I'll say he's definitely keeping the spotter and the scorers on their toes.
Well, he's one of the best in the game, I think.
Double
Game
top,
shot
it
on the
is.
third leg. Michael Smith,
And he's going to
full leg
continually
right with
leave
the
that
front
shot
first.
if he possibly
Game
can.
on.
He's very much like James Wade, a tops and tens guy. Mark Webster's the same. Maybe it's the Gary Anderson effect because he's a tops 12s and 10s guy.
34.
You won't see him at the bottom left of the board very often at all.
Smith then 2-1 to the good with the break.
Michael Smith timed that Gibraltar win to perfection, didn't he? Because
99.
he was in danger of going back to qualifying for these events, which is unthinkable, really, considering how well he's played in them the last few years.
I mean, people will say, well, Michael van Gerwen wasn't there, but, you know, in the record books, and when it comes to analysing ranking points and prize money, there won't be a little asterisk underneath saying Michael van Gerwen was not there. It won't count for anything.
Well,
and I mean, it was still a top quality field as well, let's not forget.
Absolutely.
Especially the way that Peter Wright had been playing up until that point in time on the European stage.
180.
And in the words of The Rock, it doesn't matter who was there. The fact is he was the last man standing.
Yep, and he can only beat what's put in front of you. And, well, 5 players were put in front of him, and he beat them all, including Mensur Suljovic in the final itself. Peter Wright in the semi-final. 4 6-5 wins and a 6-4 in the final. Did it the hard way, came from behind in a couple, had to withstand some late fight backs in a couple more as well. Just holding the shoulder once again there as well, Paul, just noticed. 70 away. Bullseye away.
62. And he require one.
I get the feeling something's not right. I just think he's favouring something.
I get the impression he wants to get this one done and out of the way and just rest up a little bit here as well. He's grimacing at the back of the stage a bit as well, whether it's the heat as well that's playing its part. He doesn't look totally comfortable out there.
Maybe he's just disgruntled about the fact this leg has not been finished in 12 darts. 14 will do.
Game shot, the full
14
I'm
it
afraid
is.
14 you're going to have to take.
Fifth leg, Andy to throw first.
God, it's a hard life, isn't it, having to accept a 14 dart leg these days, which is about 107 average for a leg. But that's the standard he sets himself. He does practice an awful lot, and the amount that he practices, as he gets older, he will have to address it. Because, yes, it's great putting in the work, but you've got to remember that human beings are not machines.
140.
They do break down now and again. Myself is a great point. I used to practice so avidly, had to slow down because of injuries, and I really hope, upon hope, that it doesn't happen to Michael, because he's a great talent.
Yeah.
He's got so many more titles in his future.
100.
And he's looking for a career 5th Euro Tour title as well. Picked up a couple in 2015,
100.
Gibraltar as well, and also one in Leipzig in 2014. And he's beaten Van Gerwen in 2 of those finals as well.
It's a pretty good rubber stamp, that.
There is an asterisk you can stick next to Michael Smith.
59.
I know he would have dearly liked to have beaten Taylor last year in Vienna, which could and probably will be his last ever European event.
55.
But you know what Phil's like. That was his last event. He likes to go out on a win. Will Phil Taylor win another ranking title? That is the question. I know there are a lot of people out there who want to stop him, Michael Smith included.
38.
Yeah, there's another illustration of how warm it is. Everybody doing everything they can to keep cool, but with the darts as hot as it is today, it's very, very difficult indeed.
And do you require
Well, send your answers on a postcard. Uses for a 180 card. One of them is to keep cool. The other one is to be loud and say there's a 180. Michael Smith will come back with 130 left.
Yeah, well, I said he mentioned earlier the near miss as far as the sum plus average was concerned yesterday. He's well above that particular barrier here at the moment.
Michael require 130.
And this will do his average the world of good if he takes out this 130. Well, that's the first part of the equation. Bullseye then he wants. Oh, that's beautiful from Michael Smith.
Michael Smith, 6 leg Michael to throw
Absolutely
first.
cruising there now.
That looks so easy.
That was
It's sickening,
effortless.
isn't it? He just makes it look so easy sometimes. It's like watching Goran Ivanisevic hit a lovely big 125 mile an hour serve down the tee. It was just beautiful.
Viewers under the age of 30 may want to know that Ivanisevic was a player of some standing well over a decade ago. Poor Nickel.
Oh, it's horrible to think of all these great people that we watched.
Wimbledon champion, a Wimbledon finalist 25 years ago, and then a Wimbledon champion 9 years later.
Well, we've had a young player on the European Tour this year that was born with the number 2 starting in the year. He was a millennial player. Yeah. That was in Saarbrücken. And everybody felt old that day, even the young lads.
Yeah.
133.
I was going to say, my birthday starts with a 2, but...
2nd of the month.
22nd of the month, yeah. I thought I was thinking... thinking I was in good company there for a moment.
Well, whoever wins this game, or even this tournament, they'll think it's their birthday. Michael Smith with the Della shot. He's not going to go the treble 20 route, though. Might square it up.
Well, I think that's what he was clearly doing that, yeah, but...
I think Michael understands that sometimes he has a period in a game where he can conceivably get a little bit lackadaisical, and he's just trying to G himself up and keep his intensity, and I like that, because he wants to play the long game. He's recently won a title on the European Tour, and he wants to do it again, desperately.
Well, Andy Hamilton here, not only running out of steam, but he's making his own icebergs here as well, and Michael Smith once again punishing the hammer with another hammer blow of his own.
Game on!
And, well, we've seen some close-run things today. Peter Wright, Reyes 6-5, Chizzy and White was 6-5, Sulovic, Gurney 6-5. This will be anything but this. Looks as though it's going to be another procession for Michael Smith, who was emphatic yesterday. 6-1 against Dedeker, could well be 6-1 again here.
Well, Andy Hamilton loves a comeback, doesn't he? He played against Simon Whitlock yesterday, but it was the comeback that he had against Whitlock a few years ago at the match play that stood out, arguably seen as the best comeback of all time. So he never gets flustered when he's behind, because he does believe that he can win from any position.
I think the reassuring thing for Michael Smith fans as well is that we talked about it yesterday. He had a very mixed start to 2017, a very lean spell towards the end of last year as well, but this year reached a final, a semi and a quarter in the UK Open qualifiers. He's made 3 quarterfinals and a semi on the Players' Championship circuit as well. On the flip side, he went down 6-1 to Jan Decker in his opening match in Hildesheim, and then he went on to suffer 3 first-round defeats on the Pro Tour as well, out of 4.
42.
But having had that, he's now climbed back up the mountain again, and he seems to have found his level once more, and it's a very, very high level indeed, illustrated perfectly on cue by those stats on screen there. Darts per leg, all bar 1 under par of 15.
Well, I remember the day he won, we got to the final of the UK Open qualifier, because he played me early on, and we had a great game, 6-4. He won the last 2 legs in quick smart time. I think it was something like 11 and 12 darts. But the thing that struck me most was that even after that win, he wasn't smiling. And I went away from that game just so angry, thinking, well, what are you going to do to smile, Michael? You've got a lovely smile. Let's see it.
100.
And we saw a smile a couple of weeks ago. Will we see him smile again at the end of the day? So far, so good, but Andy Hamilton isn't done yet.
Yeah. Well, there are tougher assignments in store for Michael Smith, assuming he does get through this. And there we see the doubles once again. They were pretty impressive yesterday, 6 from 9, but
We require 100.
even more so today as well. 150 points away from a place in the quarterfinals this evening.
100.
Not bothering to look around the board.
115.
If he'd have hit a 140 there, he would have left double 5. Rather intriguingly. 96 left for Andy. Can still do this. It might be curtains now,
59.
because you can guarantee Michael Smith is going to go 10 for double top to close this match out.
Yeah, should be game, set and match here for Michael Smith, who's now looking at double 10. I say it should be, but it's not. And,
And you require 50.
well, is Andy Hamilton about to launch an unlikely fight back that you alluded to just a few moments ago, Paul?
56. That leaves tops. Comeback starts now. There you go. One down, 4 to go.
Andy Hamilton.
Yeah, a little wonder he's shaking his head now. The likelihood is that Michael Smith will still go on and win this match, but he doesn't want to be inconvenienced any further here. He's got
57.
the throw here, but he's only kicked off with 57.
Yesterday when Michael Smith was playing Mike DeDecker, he had 50 left, didn't he? I think he pretty much finished the match with that 50 check out, and he went treble 10, double 10.
And this is what I was talking about in Gibraltar as well, when he was playing Christian Kist. He allowed Kist to come back. I think he allowed Vandenberg to come back as well. Just gave opponents a bit too much encouragement at times, and he'll be pretty wary of that right now. But it's on his throat.
You can't afford to let people come back into matches, and there are a few players out there at the moment who seem to make things very interesting for themselves.
Yeah,
You create more stress for yourself as a player, and on the flip side, if you can just close matches out a little quicker, it's just so much easier on yourself. It's probably one of the reasons why Van Gerwen and Wright have got a few less grey hairs, or in Michael's case, a little, well, no hair at all.
Trouble here for Hamilton is that Smith, okay, he's throwing first in this leg, but he's hit 57, 195, so he's not posted a score of bigger than a ton in this 8th leg. But Hamilton has not really done anything about that.
If you look at Andy's stats, for instance, he's buoyed, and we all are, with his little resurgence. It's only just starting now, I feel. But he will want to look at the stats and improve on those in the coming weeks. We're going to Wigan next week for more qualifiers, more Pro Tour events, so he'll want to keep the momentum going.
21.
But he'll want to lift those averages up towards the 100 mark once again.
Aspinall yesterday, 153, won't be taken out this time. That was one of my finishes of the day yesterday for Nathan Aspinall.
That was a corker.
Okay, Andy Hamilton, outside chance of prolonging the agony here for Michael Smith. 1-4-1 away, but it won't go.
60.
And he chips off the 60, and Michael Smith has 3 darts at double 8 here for a 6-2 win. Double 4 and double 2
Game shot.
is finally taken out, and Michael Smith, well, in the end it was a match that lasted a little bit longer than perhaps he might have liked, but still very nice averages indeed. 100.56, having dipped just below the 100 barrier yesterday, but Michael Smith marches into the quarterfinals, and it's a 7th successive win on the European Tour for the Bully Boy. 5 in Gibraltar, 2 here in Hamburg as well. And tonight he will face either Vincent van der Voort or Joe Cullen for a place in the semi-finals. The very real and present danger of Michael van Gerwen still lurking in the bottom half of the draw as well, but you never know, Mervyn King might have something to say about that. Van der Voort and Cullen on the way. Let's grab a quick word with the Bully Boy, speaking now with our MC Elmar Polka.
Michael, congratulations. I just said it, that was a good performance from Andy. He's struggling, we all know that.
He gave me a couple of chances in the first 3 legs, and I wasn't missing a double. I think when I missed that 50, it was the first time I missed a double, and it started to creep in. I just saw the double 8 then, but I was trying to keep my confidence. The treble shut up, and I couldn't hit 20s, so I was trying to dig deep, and Andy definitely could. And I think it was the 7th leg he was struggling, 23 and something, but then he pulled it back for 140, 134 and out. So you never know what you're going to get from Andy at the minute. He's a really, really good player, and he's starting to come back to what he used to be as well.
But the quality in your game is there, right? If you would have used the first match start, you would have been an average of 105.
Yeah, I like dropping below 100 for the laugh in the last 2 legs, but like I said yesterday, as long as I'm winning, I don't care what my averages are. Averages are just for the commentators to be happy about, and other people. I'm here as long as I get the win and pick up the winner, pick up the trophy at the end of the day. That's what I'm bothered about.
Yeah, that's cool. See you later again tonight. Michael Smith, der Bully Boy.